What's going on, guys? My name's Tom and welcome back to Slime Shoes, and today we are going to be talking about how to direct voice actors in a Lego animation, Brickfilm, Brick series and all that kind of stuff. Now this is something that I think is very overlooked when it comes to, you know, fan animations, fan brick films and stuff, because usually on YouTube if you type in like how to make a brick film, it usually goes along the lines of lighting, cinematography, all that kind of stuff. With this I want to talk about pretty much the acting element. Now, for those who don't know, in real life, you know, outside of Dartmouth Studios University, I've directed films before, and, you know, my specialty is directing. All these techniques that I've learned on set are very reminiscent of what I've done on my animations, and I'm gonna just talk to you guys about pretty much my process. So the first thing that you want to do, so let's just put this as a scenario. You've already casted an actor for a brick film that you're working on, and you want to have a conversation with them. So you, as the director, you want to have a conversation with your actor about the character that they will be portraying. I highly recommend creating a bio for that character that you've created and you want this actor to portray, because the thing is that the actor will have no idea, you know, about the character that they're portraying. Their job is to fulfill your vision and to pretty much become that character. What I have seen in terms of like animations, brick films, that kind of stuff, I've seen a lot of very questionable performances, and I feel like the reason why that is the case is because people working on animations, they just say, right, here are the lines, record them, you know, and get them back to me. You know, that actor, all they're doing is just literally just reading off a transcript. You know, they're not putting any heart into it. And I feel like that is the one thing that really is important, is that they have the heart and they have like, they are becoming that character. So yeah, create a bio for your character and talk to your actor about the character. You know, talk about their strengths and their weaknesses. You know, what is their favorite food? Have they been married? Have they been divorced? You know, all these very important details, you know, that will help the actor to understand who this character is. And the thing is, there's going to be a lot of information that you will tell your actor that actually we as the audience won't know. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because the process is it helps the actor become that character. So create a bio for your character. How they perform, how they behave, you know, is very important. So definitely make note on that. The next process is, which I believe is the most important process, because it's weirdly a psychological game that is going on. When I've worked with actors before, I like them to go into one room as themselves, and once they come out, they are the character. They're not Joe Bloggs or anything. They have become the character. So this process, what I like to do is give the actor some time to see like what works for them. How do they want them to sound? You know, that's their job. Their job is to almost do their research, you know, to play around with what could work, you know, even recording themselves, doing a couple of lines of dialogue in a particular voice, particular tone, you know, just sort of playing around. Now, you want to give them that obviously want to give them that freedom, but don't be worried about, you know, interfering. You know, if you feel like, oh, you know, whoever your actor is, you know, just say, you know, like, oh, you may want to try it this way, or is there any inspiration? You know, obviously you know, you want your character to be unique in some sort of way, but if there's some sort of thing that might help them slip into that character, where it's like taking inspiration from a particular actor, character, you know, or even a real life person, you know, I think that would help them, you know, drastically. Now comes for the actual recording session. Now, before you do recording, you've got to make sure that they have read the script, and and you want to know exactly their understanding of the character. They have obviously, you know, listened to what you have said. Now it's time to listen to what they have to say about pretty much your work. Sometimes you find out that people have these wonderful ideas, and you really got to, you know, take that on board in some way or form. Sometimes, you know, it doesn't really make sense what they have said, but you want to convince them to say, well, no, this is what I have and the reason why. You know, it's very much this constant sort of negotiation on how the character should and shouldn't behave. You want to listen to their ideas and their interpretation. Now you want to obviously read over the script with them. Sometimes a table read can be very good, especially if you've got multiple actors. Now when it comes to the actual recording of the lines, now this is where you can pretty much say like, right, you can go off and record the lines, and, you know, you can come back to me. Sometimes that is better, giving them that little bit of freedom to go off, record how they like, you know, make sure that it's obviously about 3 to 4 times, because with different tones and everything, different emotions. That is also important. Never record, you know, one line once. Record it multiple times, 6 times, 7 times, you know, as long as it's, you know, above the number 3, you know, all is good. Obviously, listen to the lines. And, you know, if you feel like they didn't do a good job, just going back to them, say, do you mind redoing them and doing it this way? You know, because, you know, you want to make sure that your animation is perfect. You know the story. You know how the character should behave. You know, you've had that negotiation process. And sometimes they do come back and actually the lines are perfect. You know, it all depends. You know, if it's an upset, if the character is upset, for example, you know, was there enough emotion there? Were they really emotional, or were they too emotional? You know, these is kind of the stuff that you want to sort of debate. And obviously when you're editing and you're putting the lines with the photos, you know, making the animation process, sometimes it may come across as a bit cheesy, so maybe you want to tone it down a little bit. You know, it's completely up to you. Nowadays what we do is we join them on a Zoom call or a Discord call or whatever. We sit there with them and we record the lines together. That's very much what we do. Whether they record the lines, if they've got like Audacity or Audition or something, or whether we do it, you know, it all sort of depends. That's stuff that you would talk amongst yourselves. But what we would do is we would sit in and we would listen to how they would perform the lines. So let's say we got the script. So let's say this is the script. You want to go over pretty much all the lines. You want to read over and if let's say they were saying a line like, I mean, it could be anything. It could literally be anything. And you're thinking, I don't think the character would say that. So you say, could you record that line again for me, please? So they will record it 3 or 4 times, you know, and say, okay, give me another shot, you know, keep, you know, going at it and just say, okay, now let's read the next line. So remember, you almost want to read it with them, because for them, it will help them picture the scenario. So that's what you want to do. You want to help them, you know, become the character and literally let their imaginations go wild. So yeah, you want to read through the lines, you want to record everything, and don't be afraid to record stuff multiple times. You know, just keep letting everything record, and you can go back to it later. But I just want to talk about what I've done recently with The Fallen Legacy. So obviously we've recasted the role of Juno Bray. We now have Yanni Mihalova. Yanni, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry if I've butchered your name. I probably have, to be honest, butchered your name. Yanni is a friend of mine. We go to the same university. She also has experience of acting. If you guys have Netflix, there's a film called Ghost of War. Yanni was in it. She plays like a zombie or something or another. But she is joining us on A Fallen Legacy, and she will be pretty much playing the female lead, Juno Bray. So it's going to be really, you know, fantastic. And I just want to sort of talk about like what we discussed during this Zoom call that you're probably watching right now. Is literally she and I just going over the character of Juno, talking about, you know, her backstory, talking about pretty much everything that I've spoken to you about in this video. She even had some criticisms of the dialogue, which, by the way, you know, if an actor has some criticisms of the dialogue, listen to it, because the thing is, you might read it back and thinking, actually, you know what, that was a bit of a corny line, so I will probably change that. And believe me, that's what I've done. I thought I'd talk to you guys about this because I feel like, you know, this is something that as I mentioned before, it's very much a very overlooked process, and I feel like, you know, if you can nail this, I feel like you can get some very good results. But anyway guys, thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. You know, I'd love to know what you guys think. If there are any further questions, feel free to put them down in the comment section down below. I highly recommend joining our Discord server if you want to chat with me, my crew, or like-minded fans. Highly recommend also looking at our Instagram page, our Facebook page, and our Twitter page for behind-the-scenes shots of Star Wars: The Fallen Legacy. Honestly, lots of fantastic stuff on there. I highly recommend it. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye everyone.